In today's video, we are going to build this working bee farm with honeycomb. It's got a timer that dispenses shears. And down here we have a whole lot of honeycomb. Each of these is filled with honeycomb. Let me just show you real quick. As you can see, we have a lot of honeycomb. So we break some blocks and look down here. We have this minecart going continuously picking up the honeycomb. And this one here switches off the minecart. So you see it stops over there and stops collecting, but we don't want that. So sometimes at the back here, occasionally these will pop out, but we're getting so much honeycomb that I don't particularly care. So we have bee nests and beehives that we've collected. All right, let's crack on with the build. So I've filled out the kind of done a rough outline here. So each module is going to be 3 nests or hives, whichever we've got. So the reason why we build it out in 3s is so that they don't collide with each other, they don't have pathfinding issues, all that kind of thing. So I have aligned this with this line here. This is the chunk border, so the whole thing doesn't cross chunk. I think this is the other edge. Maybe that one is the other edge of the chunk border, but the reason why we're not crossing chunk borders, and it's important for this one, is because we're going to be having a rail line going across there, and Bedrock with rail lines, not so good. So we're going to have a powered rail on each end here. Let's get ourselves a bit of light. Powered rail on each end, and then we're going to get levers. You can do whatever redstone activation you prefer, just to power these powered rails. So those will be there. We'll have our storage system, collection system, whatever, right here. So let's get those ones out, and we're going to put our chests in at the front here. Might need to make it a little easier to get to. So next up we grab our hoppers. You can do just one hopper, but iron is not an issue for me, so I'm going with 2 hoppers. And these powered rails and regular rails I actually got from the from going caving. So make sure you crouch and place when you go over the hoppers. And so then we have our rail line that goes along like this. Let's test it out, make sure it is all working properly. So let's turn that on. Minecraft. Minecart's going along. Make sure both of them are on. It's all working. Yeah, moving from side to side. Good. Stop when it gets there. Now let's put some items into here and check that it functions. So as it goes over, it's going to drop off 2 stone each time, and it will do that in perpetuity until we turn one side off. And just turning off one will be enough to turn off this whole system. So because of friction, we want to make sure we take this back row out here as well, because otherwise the hopper minecart will run into, it kind of gets slowed down by the wall. Let's fill in this area here. So this is going to be the back. So then we grab our dirt. And that comes out by 2. And actually, I'm going to take those ones out just to make it super clear to myself where they go, where the breaks are. Actually, just to make it even easier for myself, I'm going to take these levers out. Grab the lever and just run a simple redstone line, just so that it is even easier. So once we go like that, because the redstone line is running into this one here, that will power it. Okay, now we are going to put the dispensers in, and this line here was too low because we need to put the dispensers in facing down. Essentially server's acting up. Essentially what's going to happen is that the bee nests or bee hives are going to be here, facing out here. There's going to be flowers along here. The bees can come out and grab the pollen from the flowers and then fly back. And then we're going to have our dispensers, make sure they're dispensers, not droppers, facing down. Let's take out the dirt. So we want it so that this hole is facing downwards. Like so. Okay, we can put the dirt back in. So I've made myself a bit of room up here. What we want to do, so the edge of your last one, add 1, 2, and then we're going over here. So we're going to create what's called a hopper clock. So let's make it easy for ourselves. Put a bit of a platform here and we'll stair up to get up there. So basically what's happening, so we have the last one here, there's going to be a repeater on this one, a comparator on that one. So let's clear this out. So we're going to put redstone on all of these. You've got to crouch in place. Now if you don't have enough space, so the redstone's only going to go 15, I think. If it runs out, so if the last one doesn't activate or you're doing a longer build or something like that, then use these spots here, these gaps between them, to put a repeater on there. The method that we're going to be using to trigger all these to harvest the honeycomb is, it's called a Etho Hopper Clock, because it was invented, designed, whatever, by a very popular YouTuber called Etho. So essentially what happens is if we put some items in here, let's put that in there, so they shuffle into this one here, and then when that is done, it pushes over here. And if you look over here, this is the side where we're going out into the dispensers. And so then it moves over from one to the other. So we take those out, let's speed it up a little. So we can have it go a lot faster if we have fewer items in there. So it goes much faster if we've only got a couple of items in there. I'd probably start with maybe half a stack. If that's triggering too regularly, then maybe go a full stack of items and it'll just move across from one to the other. And you can do more than one stack of items. So you have 2 hoppers facing into each other. Then you have comparators going out of each, facing away and into a solid block which has a redstone dot on it, or line, whatever, going into a piston. So these are pistons, they're not sticky pistons, just regular pistons, and then you've got this redstone block that goes from to the other. So you can take a signal out on both sides. We're just going to be taking one out on this side, and I'm going to use a repeater to take it out so that we get the full strength signal. All right, so basically we are building this over up here. So essentially that is moving up to there. So to build this, let's start on this side here. So we need a repeater going directly into the line. The comparator goes here, and we need a solid block in there. So it goes comparator into a solid block into a repeater. So then we put some dust on that one there. Then we put down 1 hopper and crouch and face the other one into it. Break this hopper and then crouch and face it into that one. So you have the 2 hoppers facing into each other. Then we get the other comparator, face it away into a solid block, redstone dot on top of that, and we should be able to, yep, there we go. We have One there. One there. And block of redstone in the middle there. And when we're ready to go, we will just add items to the filter. So if you want to have a thing to turn it off, you can put a lever here. Do with that later. Make sure that we have enough signal. So let's put that in there. And what should happen when it triggers is that this one should spit out a block. There's nothing else in there. Let's put some blocks in there. So we should have a redstone signal, and it has spat it out. So every time it triggers, it's going to cause this to dispense. So I just put a lever here and turned it off. So you can see from this, nothing. So essentially what this is doing is locking that hopper, so nothing can flow into that, and that's locking that hopper, so nothing can flow into that. So everything is locked. It's not like it's causing lag because things are trying to push into each other. Both are locked. So if we wanted to start it up again, we would just turn the lever, and it's going to move from one to the other and keep going like that. So we can turn it off, it'll still move across, and then now it'll lock. So you can do various configurations based on how you want to access the farm. If you want access from the top, then I would actually set all this back a block and down, and then run this redstone line along. So take that block out, take that block out, and then run it behind that. So running it along there, powering it, and powering all these. But I am going to have an access way behind. The reason why you need access is so that you can fill it up with dispensers, because all this front area is going to be taken by the bee farm. So I'm going to do maybe like a door or something, and then just a walkway behind it, just for ease of adding shears. You could do it automatically, so maybe you want to put it on top and then have an automatic dispenser, an automatic hopper system going through there to fill it up with shears. I'm not going to bother with that. So I've been playing around with the design, and I've changed these to spruce logs, and because we need the glass to be on the outside here. I have moved the chest out, and so the added hoppers, and I've also moved the levers, both of those out. Bring a little nature in from the outside. So now we get our strip birch logs, and those go in between. We will need glass for the top. The reason why we're enclosing all this is to keep the bees in, because we don't want to be bringing in hives and nests if the bees can escape. That would be bad. So let's fill in this with birch planks to kind of offset the birch at the top there. Let's grab a spruce trapdoor, put that there, fill in that hole, and generally just kind of tidy up around the place. So we can cover that one up as well. So we grab our glass and fill in all these spots here. You want to do solid glass blocks rather than glass panes, because bees have a tendency to get out of where you don't think that they will be able to get out of. So we have this. Now let's grab some spruce logs. Decorate it how you choose, not like that. Okay, and then I like to use oak doors or acacia doors, but you want a door that you can see through, because when you're coming up to here, you want to be able to see if there's a bee just about to come out. We have this one here all set, and then we grab our flowers. I like to get the things like roses or lilac, I think, that are 2 blocks high. And the reason why we have it like this is so that, because there's going to be bees coming out here, so that they don't just kind of yoink. So I have this, then we are going to grab our bees, or our bee nests, and put them in these spots here. I'm going to start with the central one, so let's block this up with glass. So we'll come through here and put the bees nests in here. You know what, let's make our life easier and put the flowers down afterwards. So the bee just went straight into this one here. Let's see if we can get another one in. There we go. Now we can use our silk touch and break it. And we've got the bees inside there. So if you have some naturally generating bee nests and you need more for your farm, you can create some beehives. The way that you do that, you need a campfire, and then you can harvest the honeycomb, and that will allow you to make beehives. So please excuse the mess. So we need a campfire, and then we need to make sure we've got some shears so that we can grab the honeycomb. So you never harvest if you haven't got smoke going into bees, beehive, bee nest. So it goes like this. You don't want to leave it like that for too long, because otherwise the bees might come out and they get burnt. So you then right click on there and you get your honeycomb. So then I'll use a silk touch on this one, which I know it's a pickaxe, but it is silk touch, which means I get the campfire back after. Okay, so now come to your crafting table, and you can craft a beehive. So you have your planks of any sort, and then 6 planks and then 3 honeycomb, and that gets you a beehive. So let's go grab another couple. Maybe we'll wait and see if this bee goes in. There we go. Let's grab that. Now they do go into their hives or nests at night time, so you don't have to. So if you can, do it at night. Okay, 1, 2. Thank you very much. So each one can hold. So each hive or nest can hold 3 bees. And you breed them by feeding them flowers. So let's block ourselves in here just in case. And if we can go really quickly, because you also want to be on this side so that they come out this way. Okay, now we put our flowers down. And escape. Right. That's just a bit nervous about that, so I'm just going to block that one up. Should be fine. But we should, if we wait here for a bit, we should start to see the bees coming out and going through there. Let's go grab some shears and test that everything is working. So just right click on any of these dispensers, just to open them, whatever you do to open dispensers on your device. And we just put in 1 shear. We can come back later and fill these in. We're just testing to make sure that everything is in good working order. So let's go turn our hopper clock on. Let's go with 36 items because why not? So that has harvested the honey. Got the honeycomb out there. And we turn this one on. And make sure we turn this one on as well. Now the minecart should be going along underneath and collecting. And indeed, that is what's happened. So the minecart is going backwards and forwards. Okay, so I've made a few changes after some testing. So one of the problems was that when the nests were being harvested, the honeycomb was being harvested, it was being spat right the way out. So we have to change it to this. So let me show you what I've done. Instead of it being a single one, it now loops around, and I've added this one here, this powered rail here with the lever that's always on. It just makes sure that it has enough speed to go through. So it's going over these ones, and then we've got one, this one is offset, so that this lever here, you've got 3 redstone and redstone dust, and then one that goes down and powers this one, and then another one that powers this block here, which is behind the other rail. So now that I've filled it in, I think it looks good if we put it like this. Could maybe put kind of a decoy trapdoor there, just to kind of make it look even. Yeah, that's good. So then if we want to access the chest, we come down there, and we're getting honey as we speak. So the bees will come out, they'll pollinate the flowers and then go back to their nests. And then if we want to stop the collection, we turn that one off, and then we come up here and turn this one off. And it may take a second for everything to finish there, so it might not be immediate, but it locks it at the end of the cycle. So we've got all that going on. I will just go and grab the rest of the beehives and nests and finish off the farm. So everything is going. You can go in, breed up the bees, make sure that you've got enough bees, and it should be great. There is your working honeycomb farm, all going nicely. We'll go through, make sure that all the dispensers have shears. I would recommend crafting enough shears for all of it, so that'll be 81 shears, which is only 162 iron, which is nothing if you've got an iron farm. So you just saw that piece of honeycomb fall out, and I've been going through and just breeding up the bees. So let's wrap up this video. I have been breeding the bees. I think it's night time, they're all in their nests or hives, and we got flowers for all of them. There is 9 shears in each of these dispensers. We have our on-off lever here, and the farm is producing honeycomb, which is excellent, and it's all good. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know how you go with your build, and I will see you in the next one.